Still in commemoration of Down Syndrome Day, PlusTVAfrica spoke with some parents who shared the challenges they face raising children with Down syndrome. They called on government to create specialized schools that will cater to the needs of the children and reduce the financial burden on parents.
How did you know that your son had Down syndrome?
Well, I didn't know in time. I did not discover it in time. But when I get back to him, and I discovered that it didn't look normal, the body soft somehow. So and I sent for my mother from village that she should come and look after this boy for me. So I don't understand how he's doing. So when my mother now came and said, wow, because normally it's not the firstborn. Okay. So it's the thirdborn.
Okay.
So, you know, as a mother, you will know the normal child. So from there, I now took him to hospital, which is general hospital. So they started giving him treatment. Even though from there, they did not even discover it, that it's a Down syndrome.
Okay.
So you understand me now? So with time, I now took him to general hospital. Finally, took him to general hospital. But I've took him round, all over.
For the now.
Yes.
So was there a sense of relief when you now knew exactly what was wrong?
Yes. I'm relieved because it took him about 3 years before he can walk.
Wow. So
before he started school, it's about 8 years. But what I discovered is that when I send him an errand, do you want to go and bring so something, he will go. So I said, okay, definitely you can hear me. But it cannot, the voice is not coming out. So
how do you manage? Because, you know, in our society, sometimes people will look at children with Down syndrome and they will, you know, that they are not useful anymore. How do you manage to deal with people with that kind of mindset?
Thank you. Like those people, the way, you know, when they see them, they think, you know, they say they are not normal. Even though the formal school I put in, they don't used to play with him, even though the teacher there. There's only few of them. When they see him, they'll be, you know, be scared. They will push him outside. So later, I will go, even though I will be annoyed. I won't lie you.
Which is normal.
Normal, I will be annoyed. It's normal being, it's a woman being like
now when you see that kind of behavior, how do you now deal with it? How do you address it? Do you still get angry?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't get angry with people because they don't understand their nature. So it is me that understand their nature, that knows it. Not everybody that knows it. Can you understand me? Because it's now okay. Like this one, if I don't tell you that it's a Down syndrome, you won't know.
Quickly. So how have you coped? How have you managed to raise him over these years? Have you had any kind of support from government?
No. There's no support from government.
So how have you managed to raise him on your own, along with his brothers and sisters?
Yeah. It is God that's been helping us. So we only try, not that we have the money. We don't have the money. But we have to manage it with what we have.
Okay, what do you expect? What do you think government can do to assist
we need
families?
Government to support. We need their support. You know, like this Down syndrome. If governments have their own school, which government holds the school? Like the money will be less than what we're paying.
As a parent, I know that he has challenge, that I must work on him. I started working on him. He was going to normal school. Sometimes they repeat him from primary 3 to nursery. One of these days, I just sat down and said, this is my son. There are other things that he can do. What are the jobs that he can do? Tailoring, furniture work. You know, they have mental challenge. That's what they have. So I discovered that he will not be able to think on his own. You know, as a fashion designer, he has to design, calculate, do everything. So I decided to take him to a barbing salon. A barbing salon does not require much skill. It's what you taught him that he will know.
So, and you came up with this idea on your own?
After thinking, I came up with this idea on my own. Each time I sit down, I think of what I can do for him. what can I do on him? I take him as a project.
So when the school was, you know, sending him back to lower classes when he was supposed to be advancing, how did you feel about that? Because, you know, societal attitude sometimes when they notice that you have a child with Down syndrome, there is a way that they behave. How did you manage to deal with that?
What I did was that I'm always proud of him. Anywhere I go, you always go with me. And if I see somebody, the first thing I will say, I'm father of Down syndrome. That's the way I introduce myself. That I have a son that has Down syndrome. Let me go and bring him for you. I'm always proud of him. I go out with him. He has junior ones. We go out together. But most of the time, he's always with me.
Okay, so I know he is not only a barber, but he's also a driver. How did you accomplish that feat?
Thank you. You see, people that have challenge here in Africa, or we always neglect them, especially down south here. If we look at the northern part of the country, they're always proud of them. I heard of some Hausa people. They call their son Baba Nkrumah. They call them with their name. But here, we regard it as a stigma. You wouldn't want people to call you father of Down syndrome.
Okay, quickly.
So, now, how I took him for driving. You know, I said I took him as a project. After sitting down in my house, as if a deaf and dumb person can drive, let me work on him. So I took him to a driving school.
So he's a licensed driver right now.
He's a licensed driver.
That's quite a feat. So did you get any support along the way as you were, have you had support with raising him all these years from government?
No. I never had any support, personal support.
Wow. So what advice would you give to parents with Down syndrome, children with Down
syndrome? They shouldn't lose hope. They can do a lot of things. They can do many things that a normal human being can do.